I just googled this and it says every year 60 million students give competitive exams in India. That is IITs, NEET, CLAT, CAT, etc. And out of them, only 30 to 40,000 students get to choose a top university in India. And I just realized I made it. Not in life, but as a student, I've reached the top 1%. Look, last year I appeared for the CAT exam where 3 lakh students appeared and I scored a 99.43 percentile in this exam, which means I could get into the top 1 percentile of students. And look, I'm not making this video to brag. I've always been an average student. I've never ranked in class, always went with the flow and never knew where life would take me. But for the past 5 years, I've worked extremely hard on myself in many different ways. And all of that has led me to this point. So I wanted to keep it real and share all the ups and the downs of my story with you. And let my story fire you up, motivate you and give you the extra punch that you need in your prep journey. Also, this video is sponsored by my Gurujis at iQuanta who helped me prepare for the CAT exam last year, but more on them later. So how did I get here? Well, looking back, it all started in 2017 to 19 while I was preparing for my IIT JEE exam. To be honest, I didn't even know why I was doing that. At that point, everybody was pursuing engineering and me, although I hated studies, followed the engineering trend and IIT was the biggest exam for it. And look, I had decent teachers back then, but I had a problem. I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing. And this lack of real fire was evident all throughout my preparation journey and when the results appeared. I could not crack the JEE advanced exam. This came as a huge blow. It hit me in the face. And at that point, somewhere deep down, I realized I was going about life aimlessly, without a purpose or a vision. But little did I know, this realization would set me on fire and send me on uncharted paths later. You'll see. So in that moment of desperation and to the extent my mind worked, I looked around and realized AI would be the next big thing. And this was in 2019. I called it back then. Anyways, looking at the right infrastructure and support systems, I joined Bennett University, which is located in Greater Noida, for my BTech in Computer Science Engineering. And the hamster wheel started rolling again. I got into the same old rut of going about life aimlessly without any purpose. You know, it feels all well and good to be in a bubble, having no care about the world, doing what you want. Yeah, but that doesn't work in reality. And at this point, the time had come. Life had other plans. It wanted to remind me of what I was truly capable of. It was my second semester and there was a 3-hour lecture organized for us. The name of this lecture was Entrepreneurship 101. Now, mind you, this was the first time I had heard about this term, but this was a graded lecture, so I attended anyways. And who knew, these 3 hours changed the trajectory of my life. It instantly connected with me and I somewhere realized maybe, just maybe, if I tried, I could build a business of my own and create some impact in the world firsthand. And to be honest, it got me so fired up that I had to do something about it. So I kept attending these lectures. I went to the in-house startup incubator at Bennett University and started asking them questions about what can be done and what startup can I come up with. And one day I realized the startup ecosystem itself is facing a lot of problems. And these were problems that could be solved with some very simple tech. And so I discussed this with my professors and launched my first venture, Sparktrucks, a one-stop platform for incubators, investors, and startups. I still feel the nostalgia when I say this tagline. And in the 2 years that we ran this venture, we had so much fun and I learned a lot. We built a startup podcast. We ran 2 business cohorts. We made an in-house incubation system for our in-house incubator at Bennett University. We organized startup events, both small and large scale, at ground level. So it was not an online event. We organized actual ground level scale events. In fact, this is the first time I had learned to build a team, organize events, talk to people, talk in public, give seminars, and overall just leading a vision and making something happen. This is a whole other skill set. God, so much happened. But even though everything looked good on the surface, there was a problem brewing inside. We were not making any money. And the reason, we were good product builders, but we were bad at marketing. In a last bit attempt before graduation, we mass DM'd people. We personally reached out to thousands of startups and also incubators to tell them that buy a product, please buy it, it's a good product. But somehow we were not able to figure it out. And so by the time we graduated, we had no other choice but to shut down the venture. After the failure of my first venture, I had realized I needed to learn marketing, I needed to apply it and sell things in the real world. So a few things happened in quick succession and some parallelly. First, I joined a performance marketing course where I learned digital marketing. Second, I started freelancing, which later turned into a marketing agency. Further, I also did a few odd jobs here and there, like working in a remote sales team, also working in a local marketing agency for a few months to understand how things really work. And finally, I stabilized my marketing agency in November of 2023. But see, the point is, I worked so hard. I worked 12 to 15 hours a day just to learn and grow in the field of marketing, to understand things. This is essentially where I started to become a real student. I started to become a sponge for things that I did not know about. And somewhere deep inside me, I burned with the fire to know and succeed. And also, for the first time, we made money. We reached a stage where we were able to charge about $300 to $400 per client per month. But that essentially was the ceiling. And it was the ceiling because for whole 2 months, I tried to grow beyond this point but could not. And this brought me to a profound realization within myself. And trust me, this time I was not frustrated. I had made money, but I knew it was my time to learn. So I wanted to know, I wanted to grow, and I had inculcated in me a deep longing to learn the art and science of business making at a big level. And this was a clear segue into the next natural pursuit of my life, MBA. And as a result, the precursor to that, the CAT exam. And so I shut down my agency and was ready for a change. It was already July of 2024 and the CAT exam was to be held in November. So I had to find my Gurujis fast. And I've talked about this story in a previous non-sponsored video as well, but here I'll go into much more detail. So here's how it happened. Somewhere I remembered there was this one client who used to keep telling me about this one CAT coaching institute, iQuanta, who were doing great. So I thought that I should reach out to them for my own preparation and essentially see where it all goes. And look, I had a lot of support parameters that I was looking for. And by the way, these are parameters which you should look for as well when you are choosing your coaching institute. First, I had a bad memory, so I wanted conceptual and application classes to cement what I learned. Second, I would easily get distracted, so I wanted systems where I would be motivated every day so that I can study. Third, I wanted all my doubts to be solved as fast as possible. I didn't want to wait. Whenever my doubt used to come, I wanted somebody to help me with it. Fourth, and this is essential, I wanted teachers that I could genuinely relate to. That is what would make my learning process fun. And fifth, I wanted the support of CAT level mocks. Look, I don't want to be told that you got a 99 percentile in your mocks because the mocks were easy. No, I wanted CAT level preparation, and further I also wanted CAT level practice problems. So I didn't have any insufficiency in my practice of solving CAT level problems, and I didn't want to face any problems on the D-Day itself because of this. So one by one I asked these questions and I slowly started realizing iQuanta had genuinely made a system which had all the support systems that I needed for my CAT preparation. And so I finally made the decision to start preparing with them. And here's how I strategized my prep, by the way. In the first 45 days itself, I had completed my whole syllabus of quants. with minimal practice of course, and completed it conceptually. This I could do because they had already given us all the recorded lectures which I could just go through and prepare at my pace as well. Further, I had also bought their resource books, so I had no shortage of CAT level questions. And in areas where I was not good myself, they had supporting special courses like engineers VRC, which they included in their support system as well, so I could just have access to them and go through it and just get better at VRC every day. Going further, a subject that I found one of the most difficult was DILR, and had it not been for Rajkumar sir's lectures, I would have not even crossed the cutoff criteria for IIMs and top B schools. And a big shout out to ALP sir as well. He was the biggest motivator throughout my prep journey, and also all my algebra proficiency goes to his credit. I genuinely wish some of you can study from them. You couldn't ask for better teachers. And along with this, my primary strategy was to just be consistent with all three subjects daily. And now keep in mind, throughout this whole preparation, I had the same fire burning inside me, the fire to learn, grow and succeed. But even when you give your everything, problems always come. Distractions, social media, procrastination, playing laptop games, watching Netflix and whatnot. I've succumbed to all of them at one time. They seriously hit all at once. Look, at that point, my mock scores were not going up. I had started to feel frustrated. I started to skip a few classes here and there. And to be honest, I started to feel somewhere that I'm doomed. How could I ever crack CAT? Is it even for me? I just remember one day I had just shut down my laptop and I sat on my bed and I was like, what's happening? Where is all this going? Can this happen? Is it a goal that I can really achieve? Well, somehow I mustered the strength of opening my laptop again, and classes were going on, and I saw a guy who typed in the chat that, "Sir, I'm deeply demotivated. My mock scores are not going up, and I'm facing a lot of troubles." And that is something that resonated with me as well, because that's the exact same problem that was happening with me. I was putting all my hard work and there was nothing coming out of it. And I remember the faculty stopped the class in between and started talking to us very candidly. He said, "Keep a smile even when you are at the lowest point of your life." And then he said, "Attend your classes daily. I'll take care of your motivation. You take care of your studies." And that was genuinely a relief. Remember, one of my parameters, having good teachers who I could relate to, came in clutch. And before I knew it, I was back on track, back to being consistent again, back to daily practice, getting up early and solving all the problems that I could every day. And for the first time, I started enjoying the process. By October of 2024, I had gotten rid of the devil of distraction. I was working on my concepts and I was practicing daily. I was also giving mocks and analyzing them every alternate day. I was, in a sense, doing everything that one could do for the CAT exam preparation. But again, there was just one simple problem. My marks wouldn't budge. I just couldn't achieve the 99 percentile in my mocks. And that was getting frustrating. And look, I had prepared enough and worked hard enough that I knew that I couldn't do anything else to get a 99 percentile in my exam. But I was still stuck at a 92 to 95 percentile, and even sometimes going down to 85 percentile. In fact, even 7 days before the exam, 5 days before, 3 days before the exam, I was still stuck at the same place. And then it clicked. It finally clicked. I had arrived to an exam attempt strategy that had increased 25 marks in my mocks, and it got me to a 99 percentile. And for a bit, trust me, I thought it was a fluke, so I attempted 4 more mocks and it just stayed consistent above 99 percentile every single time. I was ecstatic. I realized now I really have a chance to get a 99 percentile in my CAT exam. And so I went and gave the CAT exam on 24th of November 2024. And there, history was made. Okay, that was a bit dramatic. But I was seriously happy with my attempt, and my result didn't disappoint me either. I got a 99.43 percentile. My god, so many things happened after the results were out. I was featured on TV and various online articles. I was felicitated by the local corporator of our area. I was flown over to iQuanta head office and there I was gifted an iPhone 16, which was my dream phone. My parents were so happy, my relatives were ecstatic, and what not. And look, coming from a middle class family, these are big moments that people enjoy. And I was so happy when I looked at my parents talking to everybody proudly and telling them about my CAT exam. I genuinely thank my Gurujis at iQuanta, my parents, and God for all of this. And I'm done with my BSchool interviews as well. So the convert lists will be out soon and I will have to decide which BSchool do I go to. Don't worry, once I choose, I will inform all of you about it. And if you are a CAT aspirant and are looking for the right coaching institute, consider trying iQuanta. I've put their free WhatsApp group link in description. Join them, ask them questions, and just get started. And finally, as always, I'm rooting for you and I'm watching from afar. Namaskaram.